hello you. Welcome to Navigating Life with Viwe. We are back for yet another episode, another conversation. We keep bringing it back, and thank you for keeping us talking. We do want to encourage you to keep liking our page, keep us talking by subscribing, and thank you so much for joining our journey on this long road to discovery. We are here for this conversation, and as you know, I never sit alone, and neither do I ever converse alone, Sunshine. I am here with our Uncle Bay. Uncle Bay is back in the house. Hello, Mawethu.
Thank you, Vivacious Viewer. Hello. It is a pleasure. It is an honor. It is a privilege to be here.
Lovely. We love it. Ngasuthi you mean curvaceous viewer, just give it to me nje side. Awufuna ukuthi
Khawusha turn around.
yeah, ingathi uzandenza la mama wemadlanga commission. Imagine. And as our guest today, we've got Unolu Melaphi. Unolu is a very happy mother of one. And she's here to join us. But before maybe I introduce what we're here to talk about, maybe do you want to say hi, Nolu, to our navigators who keep coming back to see us?
Hello, everybody. Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah.
Very, very, very interesting topic.
Yes.
Thanks, Via, for having me.
Let me break it down. In fact, let me bring it on, guys. We are here for a very interesting and a very realistic topic. We live in a time, and I think it's quite interesting that we move from the topic that we spoke about last week to what we are going to be talking about today. We covered a topic about the pressure of having life figured out together, all together, every aspect of life. Go to a timetable. If you remember the chemistry timetable, borium and calcium and all of that.
And
okay, we still have to figure out health, figure out wealth, figure out marriage, figure out friendship, figure out family. But today we're coming back with maybe another focused topic where we are talking about infertility or a choice to live a child-free life. It is 2026. And I don't know, Wes, I want to bring you in on this one.
Yeah.
You know, this notion of the clock is ticking as though our choices to have kids is somewhat on a clock, on a timeline. You know, such assumptions, which I think for me, they forget that each and every person carries their own personal agency to choose whether or not to have kids. I have a personal story as it comes to that. But what's your view? I mean, with generally the notion of you should have kids by now.
Yeah.
You know, you should have kids by now. Why aren't you having kids? What's your thoughts there?
It's patterns, it's history, it's tradition, it's culture. I think families were socialized that we need to start building and building names, building families, extending oneself. So it is assumed that at a certain age you ought to have extended a hand in marriage and have started a family yourself. So if that age comes and goes and you have not showed any signs, people will approach you in your own family, your own kith and kin. They will be asking you questions, whether, some people end up, caving in to that pressure. So
A lot of people, actually.
once you get married, there's another pressure. When are you having children?
Kids, yeah.
Yeah, you have children, you have, let's say, girl children. Another pressure comes. When do you have, you should try for a boy. So there's always, a lingering pressure that is due to you because people believe that, we need somebody to carry on with our name.
Wow, what
after
a
we're
huge
gone.
responsibility. No, look, I don't know how you have experienced this. The issue of fertility in your own personal life. How do you know? Do you have a story to tell as far as that is concerned?
Oh, I certainly do.
Yeah.
What Uput Bay has just mentioned.
Uncle Beza.
Uncle Bay.
Uncle Beza.
Look, I'll start now. Now, the pressures you're talking about, I'm being asked, so when are you having another one?
Or is that currently happening now?
It is currently happening.
Oh, okay.
And, the age issue. I'd even be told, hey, because because your child is 10. And I think I would say I advocate a lot for women to stop being asked that question. Because normally it will start with with Semakaya and it will start go makulu. And you know and you need to be that child and nicely tell them that you need to stop asking these questions because they kaya kono makoti. And infertility is now becoming quite an issue for a lot of women. And people are not comfortable to say, andikwazi uba nabantwana, or
True.
I've been trying, ayenzeki, you know. And it's just that now, I would say in my later years, I found the voice to actually be able, respectively say to abantwana abadala, asanozibuza ezi zinto, niyabakhubekisa abantwana. Because of the personal experience.
All right. I wanna actually come in right there. I love that you're referring to personal experience. I don't know. This is something I haven't personally maybe dealt with. Although my story is different, I feel like I had kids, not from a point of knowing whether or not I was ready to have kids, or whether or not it would have been a personal choice for me. I've said before on the show that my life was lived in a way as a tick box exercise, you know, metric, what then becomes the next thing? It's varsity. What becomes the next thing? It's companionship. Let me get married. And then I married the first guy that asked. And then from there, you know, as always had said earlier, it became an issue of, okay, my down, go, right, down straight. Because supposedly we're married. Maybe that's the license. Maybe that's the understanding I had. But see it down, you know, and see it down, you know, as see it down, right? But I mean, was I ready to be a mother, you know, and the responsibility that I find myself carrying? Maybe not. It's something that I've had to learn and grow into, you know. And I want to come back to your personal experience. Now, if you're saying to me, you've grown into understanding and you've grown a voice in the situation, it almost tells a story that there is a time when you didn't have that voice.
Yes.
There is a time where you had to deal with these questions. And I want to go back to that, you know. Maybe somebody there is in the same space where they're finding the questions coming. And I want you to tell me, how did it feel? I would imagine making babies on a calendar, you know, for some people, where every cycle, every month carries hope. And every month and every cycle, you know, that same hope is lost. Do you want to maybe tell me how that felt like? Paint a picture for me of what emotions that brought about and so on.
Yes. Okay. You know how us as women, you picture yourself as a mother. At some stage in your life, you do picture yourself as a mother.
Okay.
Oh.
And without thinking what actually goes into being a mom.
Ah.
So initially I had said to myself, I had said, andimfuna umntana before I have a stable job. I have a place of my own.
You had a plan.
I have a car. And so all these things were in line.
I see.
So I then had a place of my own. I had a stable job and I had a car. Then I had a husband. So it was a traditional thing for me. The next step now is that I must become a mom.
Progression,
So, okay, you know, and all those things.
Once you go to town, you can't go back.
Wow,
And you
Uncle
know-
Bay.
and you with the things we're not educated because they also do affect us. So I just made a decision. Our moms mostly, they're very traditional, so they wouldn't tell you about It
I
was
see.
a decision and as on my own. So when I was now feeling that I'm ready to have kids, and I stopped everything. I'm cleaning my system. I'm detoxing. I'm ready to be a mom. My periods are regular, and I take a calendar. I am the most regular woman I could ever find.
Most fertile, almost
But
one would think.
ayenzeki, you know.
know.
And I think after about 2 years of trying, I then decided, okay, let me, rather than go for a specialist because, you know, just to find out. And at the time, I went to a specialized clinic in Pretoria. And they did the test and everything was like, I know everything is good. There's nothing wrong. So keep trying. 5 years later, I am still trying.
Yo, Lord.
And then more tests were then done. And then eventually, I think the doctor also decided, okay, let's go deep. They realized that my fallopian tubes were blocked.
I think I just want to have a question there before we get to maybe what the specialist picks up. Where did you find the pressure? And I'm sorry, Wes, if I seem like I'm asking her questions more directly.
No, today
You
is
know,
all
I'm
about
finding
her.
so much meat in what you're saying, but I also just want us to expand on certain elements of it. When it comes to where the investigative work you were doing, you know, did you find it was a balanced act between, because of course it does take two people to make kids. You know, did you find that you had to carry more responsibility versus your counterpart, your partner, for them making sure the baby comes, you know?
Look, from the beginning, not really, because
Okay.
it was just an assumption that
Yeah.
maybe something is wrong with me.
But who carried that assumption?
I would say I also did.
Ah.
Yeah, I also carried that
I see.
assumption on my own.
I
That
see.
It's me. And yet my partner also has never made anyone fall pregnant. So he also didn't know if he can. But it was never a question for him. It was more like, okay, you're the one that's supposed to bear and carry this child. Why is it not happening? It was never a question on him if he has a problem or not.
Yeah.
And so when we're doing these investigations, okay, when my fallopian tubes were blocked, clearly it is me. So we totally shut that door on him, that it can't be him that has a problem. And I did the operation, and after that, I had a pregnancy. So I skipped a period and I was like, yay. So it was me, you know.
Okay.
Tested 2 lines, yeah, we're going to have a baby.
I know that.
But I had pains, you know.
Ah.
Cramps that I'm like, but I can't have cramps. And you know, you read, there's
Yeah.
Dr. Google. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went to Dr. Google, no implantation, you know, you're learning about all these
Ah.
new terminologies.
Yeah.
And eventually I started like spotting, then I went to the doctor.
Don't tell me you were losing the baby.
And he says to me, he looks at the scan, okay, and obviously I'm excited. I
Yeah.
tested and I bought Clear Blue, had just come in at the time, where
with
it
that
tells you
plus
the weeks. No,
and the
yeah,
weeks,
it's
okay.
the weeks, you know. So it had said 4 weeks. I was like, you're a month, you know. Hey, and the doctor looks at me. He's like, your uterus is empty. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, when you're pregnant, you must. So where's the baby? Is it a false positive or whatever? He says, no, maybe it is in your tube. And he started explaining to me about, okay, once tubes are touched, because I had to go through a procedure to open them.
Okay.
He says, well, I failed to mention that once you get your fallopian tubes touched, it could possibly happen that you're going to have a pregnancy in your tubes. I'm not a doctor, so I'm like,
Oh, man.
okay, so can't you move it to the uterus where the baby's supposed to be, you know? And the one biggest mistake I also did, I was so excited.
You
to
told
be
everybody.
pregnant. Told my mother-in-law. Told
As we all get.
No,
And I was
don't
much
think
young.
I don't think you should judge yourself for that. You were. I mean, it was something.
Yeah.
And for
Yeah.
5
We
years,
all
you
get
know, it was
excited.
something I was really looking forward to.
All
And my
of us.
mother-in-law was already saying, time. You don't want to be old and still have kids in varsity. She was already there for me.
I know
Be in
those
varsity, and when I have to
Yeah.
work till you're 65, you know. And there were my plans. Okay? And then the doctor was like, no, unfortunately, the pregnancy is in the tubes. We have to terminate and cut the tubes. It was shattering, but had to happen. And I think then with my partner, he was like, okay, so can she have kids? Because he just wanted the bottom line.
Yeah.
Is she ever going to have kids? And, you know, he would ask this question right after I'm being told I'm going to theater, they're going to cut this cube. And so it lessens my chances of having kids, because now I'm going to have one.
So is this one child you're referring to a child you already had?
No.
No, but so this is the condition that you can only have one child after we do this procedure.
No. They said you have one fallopian tube, so you can fall pregnant from one side of the ovary.
Oh, see.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, so when can I fall pregnant again? I haven't been to theater yet to remove this pregnancy. And I was worried about, okay, I'm sure my body will still be fertile
Adjust,
enough.
yeah.
And no, I didn't want to adjust. I wanted, my body now thinks it's pregnant. So immediately, let's do it, you know?
Okay.
Was trying
Wow.
because of the pressure, you know, and the fact
And
that
you wanted this as
now
well.
I didn't want to tell my in-laws that we're actually now losing this one. So I wanted to cover the
You
gap.
wanted to replace quick.
Oh, you know, and
but I think that's also just so unfair. I think it's just so unfair that somebody would have to carry. It's like carrying the whole world in your shoulders. Because the reason I'm saying that was,
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, with hindsight, I know a lot of kids are conceived in less structured ways. You know, people are together for a night. which is supposed to be a night of fun, navigators. We all have kids, and they're roaming around the streets by healthy.
Overlooking the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean.
You know, some are on a venue, some moto, like,
Yes, man.
like abanye busy. You know,
Yeah.
it's in between. You know, it's the full experience of an encounter is intercourse is not even, you know, but kids are conceived.
Sometimes there's no intercourse at all.
Hayi ke ngoku. Baba intoni ngongumari?
Ukusoma.
Intoni?
Ukusoma.
Eh?
When a guy's semen just drops without penetration. Some people have fallen pregnant that
I've
way.
heard that.
Yes, it's indeed a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I allowed to say that? Yeah, man, I'm even thinking, say what? Guys, it drop njani. I'm just
As you were, V. Carry on.
I just want to go back to the topic because you'll hate me outside this. I do want to say, guys, we don't sit here as people who fully lived every experience and who fully carry the knowledge of whatever it is to be human. We are here to also assist each other in the journey of life and to open up our minds because clearly this world is forcing us to open up our minds. Otherwise, it's difficult to survive. Without, of course, sharing for the purposes of growing, I always say. But in the context was, I stopped for a second when Onolo was saying this, and I realized that, and she interviewed, because for a moment I thought, just how unfair it is that...
And mostly a pressure that you put on yourself.
No, exactly, but I was saying...
No one else is actually asking you to do this, but...
But what I picked up is that the culpability is more on the female side as a default to say
and we're pointing,
"Akananzala."
yes.
And then I remember in my family it happened amongst the chats there, and you know our aunts would be loud and they would not, you know, they would just talk about these things with gay abandon.
I see.
Now one of them says, look, your mom-in-law will be telling you how much you cannot bear kids. Asking yourself that can the son bear kids? Now the son is the husband.
It's a very balanced.
understand?
That's a balanced
Yes.
conversation where you interrogate both the women and the men, whether or not they are able to to have children. You
Absolutely,
know?
because it's the seed. He's the carer of the seed, but there's chromosomes, there's everything.
It doesn't
fusing.
go into consideration with a lot of families because you are a new makoti, and the very first thing that you must do is you must bear us the kids.
Yeah.
You know, the family must grow, and it must grow through you. And, you know, just to finish my story here, then after I had that pregnancy, that it failed, I think it must have been 4 weeks, and I tested positive again for pregnancy. And I was like, yes, this is it. This is the plan.
Right.
And now I'm well prepared. I go to the doctor on my own. Now, this was my thing. Go on my own. Can you check? Is it not in the fallopian tube now? To my surprise, it was.
Oh.
And there goes the chances of me ever having kids.
And ever covering up this thing that you wanted to cover up.
Yes. And the emotional baggage that it carries. And when you have a partner that doesn't even understand this, is like, yo, so what you're telling me is that so the spend abandon. I'm like, well, and in my mind, I didn't think of going further, you know. And I was like, okay, can an adoption be an option? It's like, no,
So you felt like you were being faulted already.
yes.
How did that make you feel when the one person who should be sailing this? Because I don't think, and also, hey, by the way, when we are asked to marry or to join people in hands, how many times do we ever explore the topic of kids? You know, to a point where we're like, what if, baby, I cannot have kids? Will you love me through that? You know, will you understand
I think
that I
Viwe,
can't have kids?
It's
You know,
something that, us sitting like this and talking about it, it is something that men and women, when they meet or they are planning their wedding, and they need to have this conversation.
of kids.
Because infertility affects just about anyone. It is not about ukhulele ezilalini, ukhulele etawuni,
Okay, cornflakes or
isidudu. You know, it's something that affects anyone.
Yeah.
And as a result, when I had that pregnancy failing, I would say it's a fail, then umama azala wathi, yo ulidlolo mos.
I want to say, I don't know. Oh.
Just on my face, ulidlolo. And it means, unyana wam, amithise ngaphandle, you would have to understand because you can't grow ifamily yakhe. You know? So
Strike two.
Yeah.
No, look, I want to take this moment and say sorry. I want to apologize on behalf of humanity. I feel like, you know, that hurt people do hurt others.
It
And fearful
does.
people actually are very mean, you know, and I don't want you to characterize. I don't know much more about your mother-in-law, but you must just know it's just a common thing in humans. When we are afraid, we take it out on other people. I'm sorry that was your experience.
Yeah.
And also on the experience of losing a child, I do want to say sorry. A lot of people, a lot of women go through it. I do. Hey guys, no one is at Navigating Life With Viwe. You know, I understand the issue of miscarrying because when I tried to have my second child, danding a poppy, guys, I want to tell you, I was a gym bunny, right? And I had a personal trainer. And I knew, because, yes, it's autocorrect. My first child was like, boom, surprise, we're pregnant, you know? And I'm like, yeah, ne,
I have to do this.
So for the second child, I waited it out. I wanted to be ready. I got to a point where I felt I was ready. And then I went and I was like, guy, I need to check if everything is fine. Because now I want to go to Town Street again.
Yeah.
And I want to open the street, get permission this time. And it didn't happen. It happened, but it didn't stay.
And Jim is doing its physiological duty.
And actually, the realization that I was losing the baby also happened at gym with the personal trainer. Like, no, man, something is strange here, right? So I'm too familiar with the feeling of and the disappointment of how that feels like. And I thank God that I still could conceive another one. After that, naturally, without any assistance. So I know the journey all too well. But maybe, Wes, I want to bring you in as a man, maybe balance me here. Taking on the responsibility of something, because surely life does not begin with any human intervention. You know, it's a very godly given gift, right? Hence, I tell you, you will have kids showing up in places where you wouldn't expect them to show up. After one round, one
they
night.
Even maybe be there.
You know? But but you have people that are better structured to have the child, who are ready to have the child, but they are unable to conceive the child. Now, we are so in the information age, 2026, where it is clear that it cannot be the responsibility of just the woman, because namadoda, ayakwazi ungaconceive, or just the both of you, you know. What can you maybe say in that regard? Because for me, it's such a divine thing having a child. You know, it's such a that's why even with the disappointment yamadoda abalekayo abantwana, you know, some of us run with it because we understand the divinity of life, you know, and how precious it is in its formation, right? Carrying that responsibility. Talk to me about it. And also, I want you to add, because there's also this expectation that we should determine what sex the children are. You know, I decided there and then when I had my second child as a girl, but as a value factory, you know, I'm not going back for a boy because I had intended to have two kids, and that's it. Period. You know, but I mean,
regardless of the gender,
it's not without people saying "ayokabinayo inkwenkwe," you know.
Yes.
And at which point do we feel the right to offer our very limited suggestions and let them be the compasses for people to strive towards, whether it's a boy or what?
Yeah.
With what right do we have?
First of all, I think as a body of mankind, basically, we have a natural liking for kids, for little humans. They are cute. I think babies are the cutest thing ever. So everyone would love to have a child, right?
Yes,
That's our natural, you know, inclination, right? And then I've heard people say, I don't want kids, and so on and so forth, which I feel is a bit reactive, but I speak advisedly. But I always say this, and every time I say it, I'm always misunderstood. I'm saying each man, and in this case woman, is responsible for building their own legacy. Stop letting your children do your job. Now, if you are saying somebody is going to carry someone else's name, what name is that even? All right. Now, I'm going to make a piquant example. Obama, Barack Obama.
Yes.
Okay, the Barack Obama.
Somebody must carry
His name.
on Obama's name. How many people are likely to forget about Barack Obama in the next 100 years? No one, because that man built a legacy for himself.
History will
It's not
remember.
depending on Malia and
On
what's
his
the
two
other one?
daughters,
Yes, on the
yeah.
two daughters.
On the two
for
daughters.
them to make
Now,
something
somebody
with their names.
with this kind of reasoning would say, Obama, akazali. These are messages and statements that have been, thrown around in our presence. I've got 2 girl children, and I'm so satisfied because they are both healthy, bouncing, and I just look forward to the things that they will be doing on this planet. They are responsible for their own legacy. I'm done. I'm going to keep working hard so that my name can ring through households
For years
long
to
after I'm
come,
gone.
for generations to come.
Through
I love
I don't want
that.
my kids to do
Through
that for me.
girls,
bear that
yeah.
Now,
responsibility.
again, how sure are we? Because I can bear a boy child and he becomes a drug addict.
And abantwana bathu abangamakhwenkwe with that responsibility. Sorry for coming in. What pressure is that?
What pressure is that? I bear.
Hey?
I have a boy child issue, right, from my loins, and then he cannot bear children. So I think
I love
we
how
should stop.
I love your thinking. I love your thinking. It reminds me of my little daughter. My little daughter, I've got, you see, when I divorced, I changed strategy, so I raised by negotiation because I've already failed publicly. So who am I to uphold myself to these kids, So I started talking about things that naturally would become uncomfortable. So you must watch my 11-year-old. She's like, oh, girl, your lineage stops with me. I'm not doing what you did. I'm not getting married.
And
I'm not
they're
having
very
kids.
vocal, eh?
I'm
Our
not having
kids are
kids.
very
I'm
vocal.
like, but inside I'm like, but I do want grandkids. But I mean, I can't.
Yeah.
It's almost like, it's a personal wish of mine. And I've thrown it to the universe because I do love kids, So,
We love.
but I mean, if they choose not to have kids,
I wanted to laugh at you because
it is what it is.
I
though.
I don't like children, you know that.
You're going to bring me to another topic.
I do not like children. I was
Retrospectively, or you've always not liked children.
I've never liked children.
Can I also just
Look,
sign?
I would take my
I'm
friends'
itching.
children to the beach and I'd love spending time with them. But the moment they cry or they start
Go
moaning,
back to your mom.
and it's very easy to do. And then I'm in my own space, I'm comfortable. And I would actually sit, I'm like, do moms actually go through this on a daily basis? I just did it for maybe a Saturday.
Right.
So I've never really liked children, but when I needed to bear these kids, I was not doing it for myself.
I love that.
I was not. No,
dear.
I was doing
love
it
that
for the family.
admission.
I was doing it for the husband
twist.
because he needs to be indoor.
You needed to complete the puzzle.
It was not for me.
I wonder how many navigators
Yes.
actually are out there.
It
with
was not
kids.
for me, and then I was also 22 when that happened, 23, and I was like, and I'm at the right age and there's pangelela, so I'm not going to be a burden to my parents or his or whatever. I was doing it for him and his family. It was really not for me. As a result, when I then decided or made more research on, okay, I was now 30, happy. 30-year-old, I don't have a child,
Sure.
I'm going to travel the world and I've got all these plans. But then there was still that lingering thing in the back of my mind that, no, man.
Is this final? Really?
Yeah, like, really, can I not? I'm very adventurous. And I was like, okay, what else can I do to see why I cannot really have this child? Because I was now watching my friends' children, growing old, 5, 6.
Right.
They, and they'll be
What
like,
an example.
I promise you,
Isavana,
I would be
Ehavana.
sitting with my friends
Wow.
and they'd be sending the I'm like, hey, so when I'm sitting at my house, mna funa ndiziphakamele.
But uqhelile, what's the problem?
I don't know what brought that pressure back, when I was
The
30.
luxury.
Like, says and I have no one to send. I have to, there's pagamela, everything. I can't patela lipas. I can't do that. No one helps me with my groceries from the car into the house. So once I turned 30, then I
It came
started
back.
having a void that I did not know where it came from. And all of a sudden I was like, no, man,
Let me try again.
I should have a child, at least one.
Right.
And I did my research. And I learned, okay, there are clinics. Now, at the time, I had divorced now from that family. And now I was like, okay, you're 30. I was 31 by
I
the
want to
time.
ask you a question. I'm
Yes.
sorry, sometimes I get excited.
Okay.
Hindsight.
Yes.
Udivorceile kule family and uphume ungenangwana. Now you left with no child.
Gwana.
How does that make you feel? How did it make you feel? Did you feel like at least if benabantwana bapha oh you're like nip shit, yes, got this one. At least
Honestly, I was
akho
like-
maintenance izawuxoxwa apha.
Honestly.
You know?
Honestly, I was
Awurhoqi
like,
ihlahla.
yo, uThixo works in mysterious ways.
Dodge the bullets.
Because I would have to deal with him
And his kids.
and his mother.
Oh my
And
lord.
so I was like, no man, uThixo actually works in mysterious ways. I was not meant to have a child there.
but you still want a child.
But I still want. And now it was a matter. I actually even approached my mom and I said, Mama, I'm divorced and maybe I'll get married again. I don't know. But if I'm going to have a child now, my mom is very traditional. Like as you were saying, you grew up and you did all the right.
Yeah.
My mom is that person. She
Yeah.
lives her life in a life
In a box or some sort.
So and I'm known as a rebel at home.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
to see what happens if you know
Yeah.
you do the opposite of what you're being told.
Yeah.
So I approached my mom and I was like, Mama, I want to have a child and obviously I will want your emotional support, but financially I'm stable enough to have
To
this
manage
child.
my child, yeah.
And my mom was like, but no, how are you going to have a child? Because you don't have V-cubes, mdanam. I'm like, no, I did a research. There's something called IVF and I had really done the research down to every cent it is going to cost. And my mom was like, okay, if not fine indoda mosqala. Like, that's not a problem.
I
Mama.
love the mother. Love the mama. Love the mother.
And my mom, and
Love
I
mama.
was so ready to have a child that I was even ready to buy a sperm from a sperm bank.
I said, look, there wasn't a random guy.
Basically,
that
you're gonna have this child with or without a husband, with or without a man.
without a man.
I want to
Yeah.
ask, was
Wham.
there, according to Nomfan, is there no guy lingering around wanting to?
Omolulisa
Oh,
umzimba.
CVs.
So now why are we even paying for sperm?
CVs come in.
But why are we paying
And
for
you scan them.
sperm?
But
Kule economy.
I had learned that, okay, I can actually have a child through IVF and they can be white or they can be... It's me now being that level.
Yes,
Because you are as dark as...
Yes, and I live out of the box.
Hayi sana,
Akho no in
clearly.
exciting ngathi kukwenza into engekho engaqhelekanga.
Clearly.
So
Clearly.
I was like, I want me a child with blue eyes.
Amba Ivy.
So
Amba Blue Ivy.
and then the current husband came and I was like, oh, he's quite a looker. But now I had this thing that I needed to tell him. Oba, I can't do it naturally. I will tell him that first 3 months, because
Because you're also not trying to have kids at that time. So I can't. Because he's a looker.
Why a candidate? You and we look and I want to know ngathi corner. No bumkile, I can afford this chance.
Girls with plans. But I want to go back to a specific window. You know, you mentioned something about you thinking and realizing that at a certain point you didn't feel like you loved kids enough for you to have. That space between, in the age between 21 and 30,
Yeah, and 30 and
right?
31, yeah.
And 31, before the pressure came back, you know?
Before the pressure,
And most people think that they emphasize the loneliness that you will have later in life. Whether married or not, by the way. This is not a pressure yomntu ononkosikazi, married or not. If you don't have kids by 30, uba khona laa nto uba i-pension zakho. Who's going to
Ilifa
tell your
lakho.
money when you're dead? You know, what's your reason for living? You know, the loneliness that's going to reach you. Okungakwazi uthuma umntu, right?
And there's a popular one. I want to live on earth my image.
My image, yes. Yeah, khona bachoy, right?
Shiyantoni?
No, this is at a personal level. This is outside ke ngokuba, you know, there's all those things that come to you, that information that filters through. Is all fake up. But I mean, balance me on and I love that there's that admission where you're like, hey, in fact, ingathi abantwana, yeah, I want to concentrate on that window because bakhona abantu natural, and I know some whom had the opportunity to interrogate themselves about
Right.
whether or not they were going to have kids. Ayo leya yam mos mina yakwakurhuqwa nje sileyi uyabo. Yonke nje into yayo ahamba phambili so ifikarisha, you know, that's how it is. And I mean, I'm grateful that I've got beautiful kids, but I'm not going to lie about the process. That I mean, was it consultative at any level, personal or not, you know? Mara, there's an emerging trend where people are just choosing to live child-free lives. You know, where they are just deciding, I can love you and you can love me, but bafuna bantwana.
My sister,
You know what I mean? How do we accommodate that as of voters, you know, people who vote
My sister is exactly what you've
in
just
that way.
described. Abantwana bakhe zizinja zakhe nekati.
You are like it's like xa ungaziba nomntana
And she's
wayezawuba
30
nenja.
and
Like
she's
why are we
32?
replacing kids with dogs and cats? Like why are we taking this responsibility? For me, I thought awufuni kwa responsibility altogether. Ufuna yenja.
My sister is like, when we have, you know, those family gatherings and all our children are there.
Yeah.
Bengola besenza yonke lando. She'd be like, bangangena erumini yami, bangathini. And we'd be like, but abantwana bangcoza just like izinja, you know? And she just loved her pets. In fact, I learned Dimshange 10 years, and I realized that, no, she doesn't actually like people. She loves her space. And she says, you know, with pets and loyalty and everything else, she saw me through my divorce and be like, people are not right. So she's good with pets.
Is it? I love.
She's like, no, I'm good. They are loyal.
I wonder if that would not be read, because usually people will say people don't have kids, you know, out of a couple of reasons, amongst which there is maybe a career that you're trying to protect, because you understand. Good long children are direct opposite whatever to vertical mobility in career, because they demand of the time that you should be giving towards it. So a lot of people will forego having kids because they want to do or excel in other places.
She's exactly like that.
Abanye, it's because they believe they were badly raised. If you believe you were badly raised, some of us, you either want to excel at it by doing it the exact opposite of what was done in your upbringing, or your trauma response could actually be that, you know what, cancel. I don't want kids anymore, right? And I just want to check, I know I'm not speaking to you in any special regard, but you guys know, but what do you think most people sit in that conversation, right? And is it healthy for people actually just generically to decide uba mna ningandifaki andikhulise bantwana and it's a personal choice for me? Because my daughters are already on that path. But sisi, Tina, whatever money we make, whatever you live for us, we're gonna live our best lives. And as if that's true, I won't hide that. But I mean, it's their choices.
If they don't want to, you can't force them, you know.
Can I not worry though? But I think
it's just being a parent. You'll think like that.
Yeah.
But the beauty about our children now, guys, they voice out what they're thinking.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you still have, they're young and you still have a way of influencing their decisions, maybe you can try. But we would love our kids to be what they want to be, as long as whatever it is that they wish for, they are not stepping on anyone's toes and they are building themselves. Because another thing is, while I was wanting these kids in my previous marriage, I had to sacrifice quite a lot of things in building myself and my career and studying, and because I wanted to be a good wife, I wanted to be this mother, I wanted to be this, and you know, I was being dealt a backhand, but I want this picture perfect thing. And I tried so hard, but I failed.
I understand.
And I didn't fail to have children because it was a choice. It's because then my body was the way it was.
Yeah.
And fortunately or unfortunately, I had married a doctor. And I would have expected more understanding from him.
On his part.
Wasn't there
because he's a
understanding?
medical person. It wasn't really there because, you know, he had just became a doctor, and I don't know if he actually, I saw that he had no interest in wanting to find out more about, okay, if my wife has this problem, how can we assist her? It was like, you know, figure it out and come back to me when you've got an answer. And this is a person in the medical field, you know. And why not this thing, your Kai Sauba, Ekayas by 4. And my dad has other kids on the side, so clearly Ekayas Yazala.
As though that would ever be a measure of fertility, though, because that's misinformation right there.
Yes, you know.
It is such misinformation.
So my sister, I think, having seen those things as well, of wanting to be a better wife, a better partner, she says, no, I don't want to compromise myself, anything I plan for myself because I want to be a better partner for someone. And then I bring these kids, let's say I have girls, then I'm told, why ungazinenkwenkwe? Still, I will not be good enough. So I am not going to expose myself to that criticism.
I feel like we need a special intervention for people in their 20s. I feel like people in their 20s are just left on their own to figure out life, and yet that's the biggest stage where people take huge decisions, and yet it's just left to chance. I mean, imagine carrying the responsibility of making sure there's a child as though you are God, as though you are B, because no matter who manages your doctor, no one can actually facilitate it unless some divine intervention. It's a personal thing for me that God creates life, but I mean,
I don't know. I just have this comment. It's unsolicited, I know.
No, go for it.
But my observation in life is that naturally we are just avuncular human beings. We love little people. We love kids, right? We find them cute. We expect a lot. There's so much that lays in wait for them, and women are just something else. And I'm not trying to charm you guys and
please
be that
give
guy.
us a flower, Sana, because caring for 9 months is
Don't you think there is a reason
we are
why
creators
at an elementary phase of education, primary school, preschool, there's female teachers? Because, I don't know, they are bestowed with that natural ability to nurture, groom, and build. All right? So they are just incubators for these amazing people to become absolutely phenomenal as they grow older. So I don't know, with a child or without a child, I just find women with that natural, effortless ability
now
to groom.
imagine how it feels to be us with all that capacity and having to prove that we need a place in society. That's a topic for another day. But
Is that what this is
that's
coming down
another
to?
topic. We'll come back on that because there's a lot of permissions.
By the way, guys, I'm dealing with hardened feminists here.
No, we're just realists. We it's not even feminism, because I think feminism for some reason is misunderstood. It's
I
realism.
think you guys have been hurt a lot by our society, so we must accept that there will be, a movement, so to speak.
No, but we're not.
Truthfully, these are the things we expect, even in the workplace. I think when women are operating in their true phase and element, not trying to be like men, not trying to prove a point to a man, but being their natural, we see amazing turnouts.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, this is not what the topic is about.
I don't want to go there, because if you ask me to go
It's
there,
all
by
right.
the way.
Yeah, I see you again.
They say everything, that there's a reason for everything. Ne? Right? And they also say maybe there's no reason for everything.
Sure.
I've recently just realized that.
Okay, what did you realize before I even complete what I wanted to say?
The fact that there may not be a reason.
I love that. Do you know why I love
There may
that?
be a reason.
I was battling, not guys, but I'm forever on a journey of self-improvement. So on one of my sessions recently, a session of therapy that I always advocate for, by the way, so that we learn not to bleed onto situations and people. We work through our own issues. So I was there sitting and thinking, oh my Lord, what an overwhelm my life is. My life is A, B, C, D, E, and F to Z. And there's something I suffer from, an obsession to understanding. I can psychoanalyze things, that obsession of an overthinker.
Incisive.
Yeah, the obsession of an overthinker will go back to a topic over and over. Why is this thing not aligning? So I sit there, I'm like, oh my Lord, my life is this total overwhelm. She's like, oh, shame. Yeah, it is, right? I'm like, yes. What do you have to say to that? Because I need you to tell me something I haven't thought of, because I'm really honestly out here to understand why my life is like this, And she's like, I wish a child that's born today and dies tomorrow, could understand. I wish somebody who catches a chronic disease and they die and they're at the peak of their career could be made to understand. Unfortunately, all these answers that you think are owed to you, maybe
They're not there.
and also remember, nothing is ever done. So you're not going to wake up tomorrow without anything to work through. So let's first get this thing in your head that you have to understand. You have to live through it, Viwe, you know. You have to live through it. How are you going to do it, you know? So unfortunately, in a world where some of us are looking for answers, we're looking to conclude things. Unfortunately, within this lifetime and the next, the project of life continues, and the struggle towards realization of the greater being continues, you know. So as much as we move in different ways, but anyway, before I become
you must move.
We have to move. You have to move through infertility. You have to move through abandona that we lose.
And stop stigmatizing infertility.
No, but I love that.
You understand?
But stigma only works when you allow it. Can I say that?
Really? No,
it does.
No.
Can I tell you?
I beg to differ as well.
Okay,
with you.
please do differ.
I beg to differ because, look, in my case, I'm a very open person.
Yeah.
I don't. Now I would tell a stranger that no, I had a child through IVF. You know.
Yeah.
But the moment I say that, especially with a group of women,
yes,
right,
they're like, and I'll be like, but it's another way. There's a way of having a child if you want.
Yeah.
But do you see how that stigma is not lived by you? It sits outside you.
But I've got someone that I had referred to IVF. And you should not dare mention IVF in her presence. And yet both her children came from it. Because she feels like she is not worthy to be umama that had conceived through a child, through, they call them a cube. You know?
Cube.
And I was like, but why do you feel like that? No, it's still taboo. So as a woman, you must have intercourse to have a child simple. You know, and if ufake izinto zabelungu.
But I love, because I want to tie. I'm still on this notion, guys, that unless you internalize the external stigma, it can never work on you. Because if you are able to own it,
it hurts
forward,
you.
What hurts you?
It hurts you. Look, we are hurt by people that are in our close circles, people that we care about the most, people that we love, that love us.
I understand.
Now, if somebody brands you as idlolo, for instance, no matter how strong you are, it hates you. Yeah. Especially somebody that you're expecting support from.
I understand.
If somebody says, "Inkuku ya lilisela," you know, I mean, those comments, you know, that branding, you know, sort of like makes people feel less
and you know
of themselves.
So
but
I've just had a conversation with Unolu.
I'm not saying
I met her for the first time.
I understand.
And it was a phenomenal. We're just talking not just about this topic.
Yes.
We're just talking about, you know,
Life,
we're just
life
traversing
in
a whole
general.
lot of, you know,
I
yes.
understand.
And I like her take on things. You understand? She's very bold. She's apologetic. She's unapologetic.
Not apologetic.
Boisterous.
Yes.
Yeah. And she was met by another boisterous Noluntu at the time. You know? And I was just in awe because these are people who are here to make us reevaluate our truths. So in reevaluating our truths, let us recalibrate our minds in how we approach women with these kinds of dynamics. You understand?
I'm now being reminded by what you're saying. When I told my husband that, okay, I've been approached to do this podcast and stuff, he was like, "No, you can go." I'm like, I wasn't really asking for permission because he knows that I talk a lot on behalf of people who are voiceless.
So we are not in trouble.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
All right.
I even at work, I'm a shop steward. Like I speak on behalf of those that can't.
You're the voice of the voiceless.
You know?
Yeah.
And he said to me, "Yabona, you can go talk about it in future." And my response to him was like, why are you eager the topic? Because we went for IVF. And at the time when I introduced it to you, you were like, but I believe I'm very good in convincing people because you actually also realize that you want a child with me. So no man would be made to do what you did because there's a lot that he had to do for this child to be here.
I can imagine.
So you wanted this, but it's a stigma because he doesn't want to be looked at as
Much respect to your husband, by the way.
he did that because there's things like masturbation has to be done. There's a lot that goes
No,
through
guys,
the process.
we can't act like people don't masturbate naturally. Like, can we just do it for a
But
cause?
but
Like,
people
do it for a good cause.
pretend as if
no,
people
but
don't masturbate.
No, but that's being very childish. What man doesn't masturbate? And I'm sorry that I had to come in there, but I feel like we need to protect truth. People do these things. Can we do it for a good cause? If you're gonna play with yourself as an old man, can we just do it for a good cause? And I'm saying that especially for those that are standing. I want to celebrate your story. I'm celebrating it with you because. Haibo, if there's an intervention, it's there to be explored. Can we have abantwana be-cube? I want, in fact, because like just how different could they be enough for them to carry a stigma, And also, guys, here we know niyadlala ngani, so stop it.
That's another
adults need to
subject
grow
that is
up.
stigmatized.
No,
Yeah.
adults need to grow up. No.
And unfortunately, in the IVF process, it has to happen.
I love that it has
You
to happen.
are told to do it.
But I want. In fact, I'm sorry we're talking infertility. But ngoku sendifunda nale IVF, which is so interesting. Guys, there is a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you want that child, I can also refer you because we've got our own in-house Dr. Bay, right? Maybe he should come in and weigh in on this, When your partner is asked to do this, are you given the thing to go do it at home?
No.
I want you to just give me like a top ndonzi ba
high level.
le playing, is it in your comfort of your home? Oh, uyenza kwi-doctor's room because zine-aircon
In the doctor's room.
Aye.
Yes.
It has to be
Kaloku
fresh.
They need your sperm as fresh as it can be and as strong as it can be. So
As
that
alive
they
as
can-
it is,
They
can
can
be.
be taken immediately.
And you are
be
given privacy. While
Yes, yes.
Now,
I
do
didn't
you
even
get
s- I didn't
anything
even
to
see where he did
stimulate
it
you?
because then
Do you get? Yeah, I was coming to that. Are you given something to stimulate you, or
What do you mean by stimulant? What do you imagine would be
watching
stimulant?
material that is going
What
to?
material are you talking about?
Okay, now you want me to say it out loud by PORN,
Oh, you mean porn? Oh, would that be?
or even her having to come into the room and play.
I feel like
the
we need a
wife.
man who's had to go through this thing. Like I feel like next time we
Yes,
should,
they-
but
they-
we
you
should. I mean,
do,
we
you
should
do
get
you, yeah.
just for this part because I want to know how do you get your machine to cooperate.
No, they do give you material in that place.
You see, when I
You
spoke
get
about the
given- you
misfiring
get
the
given a
other time,
gown.
guys, I've been vindicated. Remember when I spoke about how my plan misfired last time? Any man can get it there. Any man can get it there. If there's a will, there's a way.
darling.
My judgment was never wrong. But
So-
back at the topic.
So stigma.
Yeah.
Back to it because he felt like, well, I did it, and he is very happy.
That's
with
why
his
I
son.
have so much respect for him and
Guys,
admiration.
And I'm trying.
No,
by
but guys,
all
we
means.
can't praise fish for swimming. Why do we have respect for this man?
Kaloku,
Like
the
what has he
background
done?
is saying
Because
he has
I wanna-
done
I wanna
what most of us
will not do.
will not do.
make it make
right?
sense. Which is?
Huh?
Which part? The masturbation.
No, the fact that if your wife or your partner cannot have children, you are willing to go and masturbate in someone's office that you do not know, all in the name of having a child.
I see.
Instead of just simply sleeping with someone out there and having a child.
I understand. But I think there's a lot of ignorance in the expectation of sleeping with somebody. Because as I said, I mean, if we can tie things together, if we're not responsible for creating human lives, assuming that yours is going to happen the traditional way, it carries a lot of arrogance and ignorance. And I'm not saying that in a way to push down any person, but possibly to open up the topic so that abantu bazawutshata, can we have this
But
conversation?
there's other things.
Can
like
we have this conversation?
Surrogacy.
There's a lot of options. on
Surrogate
having-
ke sana iyoyikisa because kuthiwa uvela so sakhethe ke ngee-feelings zalo tata womntana
Mane brush.
yoyiki. But I would love to have a surrogate, somebody who's taken a surrogate
Do you
to
know,
have
I
them.
was very tempted to do it because after my son, I really wanted to have a second
I see,
child.
as an option.
And he was just not open to it because I'm like, but at the end of the day, I've got frozen embryos, by the way,
Love
that are
it.
just waiting to be planted if I want a child.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like to him, but that's my egg and your sperm. That is totally DNA-wise us. But someone else will just be carrying because my problem is not falling pregnant, because I did fall pregnant. It's just that now I can't do it naturally. And after I did do a second cycle, by the way, to try and have a second child, and I had miscarried that one.
So
So I then realized that my womb has miscarried 3 times after
sorry.
my son. So I don't really want to traumatize myself, because that thing is painful.
I know.
Painful physically, painful
Emotionally.
and just mentally. It's the most draining thing, because
can
you
imagine.
become so excited, and you know that you're creating a life inside you. And after 4 months, and there's that thing after 12 weeks, you're like, oh, at least the most dangerous part of the pregnancy is gone, and then it happens at 20 weeks.
I want to ask you a question, because and I think maybe we may have omitted to say before you chose IVF, what were your options? And now you're speaking about surrogacy. Yes. You will still tell us what maybe happened there. But was cost any part of the consideration between these two? Were these two the only things you could consider for you to have
with
child?
all the tests that get done,
Yeah.
the fertility specialist that you're dealing with will first see what is your specific problem, because it is not a general thing. With me, my womb was okay, and I just did not have fallopian tubes
To carry.
Yeah, to take the egg and the sperm and that whole thing, and then it goes and plants in my uterus. So I do have a uterus, and they do a lot of blood tests and everything. And in fact, I don't have problems with fertility. I was actually, I don't know how they do it, but out of 3, I was 3 out of 3 in terms of fertility. So I am very fertile, and my period is very regular. So my body is operating okay. It's just that I just don't have the passage.
I understand
That,
I understand.
Your journey becomes very individualized, because then with all the needles that you have to do and everything. So it is really on a, you and I could never have exactly the same problem.
I understand.
So the options then, the first for me was IVF, because I wanted to feel the caring, the kicking, and
Right.
So if I'm going to do it, I might as well feel everything.
Okay.
Then the second option was, I can have a surrogate if I want, but I was like, at the first child, I was like, no, I don't. If you think that I can carry this child, let's start with that.
I see.
But they do give you the different options.
I see.
Of what it is, and they also give you the option of, do you want to carry 1, 2, 3, or 4 kids?
At once?
Yes.
Chisa ndithi uthi napha
So
kum.
I
Ndingake ndibuye ndine-twins if I was fit for it.
For instance, one of my embryos that are there and frozen now has 3.
Triplets?
Yes.
Jesus, Lord.
When it did that whole what do they call the dividing? Yeah, I've got, but they will also tell you the risks of having that, and how viable is it going to be of a pregnancy, and there's a lot of information, and when you decide to do IVF, you better want to do it and be in it, because it's a 50-50. You may not fall pregnant. None of the medical aids cover that. It is extremely expensive.
Like, what are we talking?
Currently, if you're going to do the whole full thing, from them making sure that your hormones are fine and everything else, and make sure they prepare your womb, and currently, I think it starts like at 70,000.
Oh, sure.
At 70,000.
That's not little.
Then but then it depends. Yes, but then it depends.
It's a conception, just for clarity.
Just to get you pregnant.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You see, what you guys take for granted actually costs people a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think, I had to take a loan, because I needed to have 100 grand, because just in case when they plant and it doesn't work, I can quickly go back.
Right.
So you need to really be prepared.
I think we are going to have to come back. I need
and for the sake of education,
I think we need to come back on this topic.
I was highly impressed last month during Mother's Day. They say before, let's take a moment of reflection. Before you ask someone when are they bearing a child, consider that there are people that are not able to bear children.
Absolutely.
Now, what she has just explained, that she's fertile, highly fertile, but the pathways were the ones that were, maybe in short supply, if I may use that word. And there are people who have miscarried. It was something beautiful like that have that kind of empathy. So this kind of education, it helps us to stop being ignorant in asking people, okay, so when are we celebrating the birth of a new person?
No, I'm bold enough now to actually say, because I am still being asked that question.
You have
So
gone through those phases of...
Uzaba na inini wesibini? And then I asked the person, uzamkhulisa, uzamondla?
Oh, wow.
And I'm not, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt me. It's just that I want to alert that person that you don't just.
By the way, even with us, people that have never had challenges, right? If I may call it that, a challenge, or rather a different path. When people saying, "Uzaba nomntwana oyinkwenkwenini," it annoys you. That, okay, I've been through this with
You may
Viwe,
make someone
now
pregnant.
I'm through this with
But does it
Natal.
guarantee it's going to be a boy?
Absolutely.
It
So
doesn't.
it's ignorance, and people may mean it well, I know, but even if you mean it well, just exercise care.
And others go as far as saying, uthini umyeni wakho about you saying you're only going to have one child?
Oh, wow. So, as inserter, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to close this off, and I do want to close it off for now, right? Can we?
Yes.
All right. As we are about to, India Ari
Are we
does
there
say...
already?
All right. India Ari does say, I am not my hair, I'm not my history, I'm not the past mistakes I've made. And even you, Navigator, with or without a child, you are still the wholesome human being deserving of everything great. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Hey, Navigator, it's Viwe. Welcome back. To complete this conversation, we are sitting in a room where women are usually forced to sit into alone. The room with questions about wombs, about the waiting and the worth. We are talking infertility. We are talking the choice not on to have children. We are doing it without shame, without saying just relax, and without pretending there's only one way to be whole. I have today with me in the studio a gynecologist, not to give you medical advice, but to give you language for your body, language for your grief, language for your choice. Because whether your arms are empty from grief or from a decision, you are not lacking. Let's begin. Dr. Batembo, welcome to this conversation, and thank you so much for honoring us with your, I would say, your knowledgeable self with regards to the topic at hand. And I would like to give you this opportunity to greet our navigators at home.
Thank you for having me, and once again on the show. And good morning, good day, good afternoon to the navigators.
I had hoped you'd also say good evening to those that watch at night.
And good evening to those watching wherever you are, all over the world. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for gracing us with your, once again, I do want to say, with your knowledgeable self in this regard. And without wasting time, I'm just going to shoot straight. We've just had a very informative topic on infertility, speaking to somebody who's lived through the experience. Mm-hmm. And we thought it appropriate maybe to call you in as our resident Dr. Bay for you to maybe come in and weigh in on this topic, because it is a topic that unfortunately affects a lot of people out there. And, one may be curious, to know that what are the most common signs, that one should look out for, or what are the most common things that one can maybe pick up by yazi ndoni. I feel like maybe I could be infertile. We just had a conversation where the woman was carrying the weight of it, and what are the dynamics there? What would you say are maybe common things that maybe a couple, I want to extend it to the couple, what should two people intending to have kids maybe notice, maybe we're infertile here?
It depends. Is this couple together the whole, every day in, day out? Mm-hmm. Do they live together, or are they in a long-distance relationship?
I see.
So if you have, let's take an example of a couple that lives together.
Yeah.
6 months.
Uh-huh.
That couple should conceive.
Within that 6-month period?
Yeah, with the regular intercourse. Uh-huh. And the regular, this is maybe 3 to 4 times a week.
I love how you've defined it. Now we know regular is 3 to 4 times, guys.
Regular.
Uh-huh. Not once a week, ne?
No.
Okay, the doctor has prescribed, guys, 3 to 4 times is what we regard as regular intercourse between two people that are coexisting and intending to have kids. Thank you, doctor.
And that's just the sort of the basic thing,
Uh-huh.
your baseline. But as you know, it's not just one thing. You can't look at you can't isolate. Yeah, that there are other factors that you must take into account. So, you could be living together, having regular intercourse, but not having it at that time where you are most likely to conceive.
I see. But I think we should be safe with 3 to 4 times a week.
3 to 4
you
times a
should
week,
bump. Noba ulahleke wabambula, but you should hit it at some
Because
point.
there's a fertility window. There's that 2-week period. Each cycle has a 2-week window
I see.
where one is most likely to conceive. So, yeah, so it's the 6 months for a regular couple, or it could be 12 months, depending on the regularity of the intercourse.
I see. And doc, what are the common medical causes, of infertility, that you think maybe a lot of people don't know about? What causes it and so on.
First of all, it takes two to conceive. So
See, told you.
so
Okay.
there's male infertility, and there's also female infertility. So we can't just look at the female as being the one, because she's the one who will carry the pregnancy. You can't look at her as the being the solely responsible for everything.
I see.
So when it comes to your female factors, we've got the ovary. Your eggs will be coming from the ovary. You've got the tubes, fallopian tubes. That's where the fertilization will take place. And you've got the uterus. That's where the implantation will take place. And you've got the cervix. If there's any issues there on the cervix, it might affect the conception, the ability to conceive. Hormonal imbalance, which is very closely associated with stress levels as well. So your stress levels can affect your hormones. You could have an imbalance. And because of the imbalance, you might find yourself being infertile or subfertile because of that. Male factors will be lifestyle. In fact, lifestyle for both male and female. Lifestyle such as tobacco use, alcohol, lack of exercise. But specifically on male factors, it's abnormal sperm. You might have too many of the abnormal sperms. No sperm.
No sperm.
No sperm, yeah.
Okay, I wanna ask.
A very low sperm count.
No sperm, low sperm count. Ejaculation. Are we getting something out, or kuvela comment?
There is ejaculation, but
Okay.
it's ejaculation without any sperm. So sperm is not the fluid, but the sperm,
It's the life in the
the
fluid.
fluid contains sperm. So you can have fluid, seminal fluid, but there's no sperm in that fluid.
I see.
That
Okay.
could be because of a blockage. It could be because of also a hormonal imbalance in the male. It could also be because of the blood supply to the scrotum, that's where the factory is. So if there's issues there with the circulation, that might affect the male, and then you have a case of male infertility.
I see. Interesting. But at which point do you feel like it's reasonable for a couple to decide, "Ba, yabona ngoku, we are going to seek help," and where do they seek help? They've been trying 6 months yakho, regular 3 to 4 times a week, but we ain't seeing anything, you know. Iline one go pregnancy test continuously. You know, at which point do you think it's reasonable for them to then decide, let's seek help? And where do they seek this help? Where do they go? Do they go to a GP? What happens? Or even other ways. I mean, I don't know. I'm saying GP as an example.
They'll start somewhere, but you ultimately investigation must happen, and both must be investigated. Can't just focus on the one individual, the female.
So in other words, you are advocating that when that is maybe a suspect problem between a couple, both should seek intervention.
Yes, both.
Without saying the female should go, you know, to the gynecologist alone.
Yeah, both should seek intervention, but you find that across practices, gynae practices, and so on, you'll find that it's usually the females are coming in alone. They're on this journey alone. They're on this journey because they want to please. They want to first sort themselves out. So, you know, they want to first put all their ducks in a row to make sure that on their side everything has been looked at. They are fine. And then once that has been established, it then, you know, it sort of removes the cause of the infertility, in a way, is being removed from their shoulders. They are no longer responsible, and then they can focus on the partner, because partners are difficult. Male partners are quite difficult. There's ego that's involved. You know, it comes into play where the man will feel that they are able to reproduce. They've done it before.
Or the family, you know, males in the family are able to reproduce.
They've done it before and they don't have a problem. If there's someone with the problem, it has to be
the female.
The female, because they're having done it before. You might find that they're talking about something that happened 5 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago. So they still hold on to that to say, I am fertile, I don't have any issues. If there's an issue here, it's you are having the issue. So go sort it out, and then, you know, the woman then goes on that journey all by herself, does the investigation, and then when she is ready, goes back to when everything is ready, all the results are back, nothing wrong with her, then can she then now say, look, as a husband, partner, I've done my part, doctor says I'm fine, now it's you. So it's as if they need backup for their partner to then
start their journey,
to tag along on the journey. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Can any person who has a child claim with confidence that I can have another one because I've had the first one? Or is it always something that can change at any point in time?
It can change at any point in time.
So history becomes irrelevant.
Yeah, you conceive in 1 year, maybe whatever that year is. The time moves forward. Your changes that are occurring in your body, some natural, some not. You might develop an infection that's not treated properly, that affects the tubes, and you have your tubes blocked because of that. You could develop endometriosis after having conceived. Develop endometriosis, and which could be very aggressive. It could be stage 4 endometriosis, where you find that the entire pelvis is affected and other organs, and that causes inflammation, very severe inflammation, affecting your tubes, affecting ovaries, affecting your uterus, and it's just difficult for you to conceive because of that.
I'm trying to say, can men's fertility change? Can he move from saying, I've had a child now, it can't be me,
Oh, yes. Time. The there's things are happening in your body that you're not even aware of. So to assume that all is normal because you've had an opportunity to have a child, that doesn't mean that tomorrow that opportunity, that chance is still the same. Your chances of conceiving dropping with each passing year. So you can't rely on something that happened a couple of years ago to
And use it as a
then
measure.
use that as your measure of your fertility today.
That's quite eye-opening, actually. I've never really thought about it. I feel like I've always assumed you either can have kids or you can't have kids. Let's just imagine what your rooms look like. I know that you've got different patients that present themselves. As you are a gynecologist, you'd have pregnant women, you'd have people that are trying to fall pregnant, you'd have people that present themselves for gynecological issues. But as far as stress is concerned, because my imagination is that we're living in a world that nobody has lived before. And I speak about this from a point of thinking today, living as a Black woman in South Africa, right? There's so many things that I have to consider and live with. Being a single parent, being a breadwinner, being what I would term as a boss in my world, being self-employed and trying to make it work, being somebody who's trying to live a healthy life. We must reach those health goals. We must go to gym, walk, we must run, we must eat our vitamins, make sure we do our Kegel exercises, and so on and so on. I mean, it's quite stressful to be a woman nowadays, and trying to have kids, what is that looking like in your gynae rooms,
I think it's also stressful even for men.
Okay.
And nowadays stress is very much prevalent with so many things that are going on. Food prices, fuel, this and that, pressures from your peers, from your family to conceive. So yeah, stress, it affects all of us. In my practice, say about 1 in 6 people will be having infertility issues. And stress is not the only thing. It's multifactorial. Fertility most of the time is multifactorial. So you can't look at stress in isolation, but it does play a huge role in affecting women or affecting the couple.
I see. And their conception thereof, right?
Because even having conceived, you can still lose a pregnancy just because of the stress. So it's important to take care of your mental health even before you conceive. If you are known to have issues with conceiving, with miscarriages, it's important to create an environment that will enable you to go far, to move. If you're losing in the first trimester, do whatever you need to do mental health care wise to get you over that first trimester. Then you get to the second trimester, protect your mental health, reduce the stress, have your regular appointments, your checkups. And if there's anything you feel that is a concern to you, don't hesitate, especially in an environment where stress is a factor, past history of miscarriages is a factor. You need to consult without delay. Check all, just check all the boxes. Check all the boxes so that you try and achieve a positive outcome.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. One might want to know if conceiving naturally, and this is my last question to you, if conceiving naturally is not possible, because I also know that information, right, is available everywhere, but it's not exactly accessible to everyone. And I want you to break it down in a few minutes or seconds to say what other options are there for somebody who cannot conceive naturally. When you can't conceive naturally, is that the end of the road?
Not the end of the world, but we must do your preliminary investigations and find out what the cause is, so that the options that you'll then go for will be directed by what the problem is. So, for example, someone with out tubes will require different intervention than someone who has got tubes. So options for someone without tubes would be IVF. Or
So IVF still allows me to carry the baby.
it still allows you to carry the baby.
Okay, but
'Cause
conception is outside.
The issue is just the tubes. So
Okay.
you'll extract the egg, the ovum, you get the sperm, you get the fertilization done in the lab. Embryo starts to develop, and then you put that embryo back into the
mother.
Into the
I
womb.
see.
Yeah. So that's IVF, and then for somebody with tubes, everything seems to be, and every other investigation is normal. You might want to try for the low cost intervention, which is intrauterine insemination. So here you are not taking anything from the woman, but you just get the sperm from the lab. They prepare the sperm. It's in a container. You have a syringe. You then use that special syringe that's given to you by the lab with the long tip. This you'll use to inseminate the woman. So sperm is prepared, you extract it using this special syringe, and it's timed. So you want to know what the menstrual cycle is like. So it's it's a procedure that's timed according to
ovulation.
So, and some injections are given to prepare the ovulation, or sometimes you have to induce the ovulation. And then you give injections after that to assist.
Interesting.
So that's intrauterine insemination.
And I know there's surrogacy as well.
Yes, surrogacy. Yeah, that can be challenging though. Lots of paperwork. Legal stuff. So you don't just you don't go into it lightly. You have to be counseled. The surrogate counseled. You lock the surrogate in, because the surrogate will naturally bond
with the child.
Bond with the pregnancy. And next thing, when it's time to hand over, then you are having issues. Now it's a court challenge, trying to get your baby
child
back. You want, and so even there are options. You could have both your DNA, yours as a couple, and the surrogate as somebody who's just going to carry, or the surrogate can also donate
an egg.
And carry for you.
But they by donating we're not encouraging that they sleep with the partner.
No.
Okay.
IVF still. Still go through the IVF path.
All right. I do want to say thank you to you. Thank you so much for this enlightening information. Thank you so much for allowing us to learn through you. And thank you for your time. It has been quite an insightful conversation. And if today's conversation found you in the waiting room, the grief, or the decision, hear this: your arms are not empty of worth. Whether your womb is quiet from pain or from choice, you, navigator, are still whole. You're not lacking. You are fully whole. I am Viwe, and this is Navigating Life with Viwe. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for watching. It is a wrap.